When you first open up Photoshop Elements 2018, this is the screen you'll most likely be brought to. It's the quick editing mode, the quick mode here. There are 4 tabs along the top. eLive is just, if I click on that, it brings me to Adobe's page, and there's tutorials and other things on that. Quick is exactly what it says. It's very quick and easy, and the different adjustments you can make are along the right side here, and you can click down, and many of them have an auto feature that you can click on, and it will improve the picture. But it takes very little. I mean, it's like a click of a button. Guided is has a variety of different things. I never use quick, but I once in a while will use guided, and there's a bunch of tabs along the top here. So when you select basic, then the options down here, you can see brightness and contrast, skin tone, levels, cropping, lightening, darkening. These are some of the basic edits, so there's quite a few. Right? You go to color, and it's the same thing, and there's usually a little explanation, and there's also a slider so that you can kind of slide it back and forth on each of the pictures to see what the effect would be as well. Black and white has a bunch of different choices here. Fun edits. And what they'll do, and I'll show an example later in this video, I'll take you through the different steps of at least one of the guided, and photo merge. So lots of choices, lots of fun stuff that you can do. And then the last one up here is the expert mode, and this is basically the one that I use the most. All right, when you click on expert mode, you get the toolbar, you get layers, a palette here. You have the most tools to use to really be able to fine-tune and control so much in your picture. All right. The quick does a good job. Guided takes you through, and there's again some fun things that I use in guided. All right, but for the most part, I use expert mode. Other features of Elements 2008 include the create and the share. I'm just going to click on this to give you some of the options: slideshows, photo prints, photo books, greeting cards. All right, you can see all the different choices here under create and under share, where you can share your pictures at. If we go down along here, I'm just going to click on filter just to show you the filters will come up, how you can alter and put a filter on your images. And this is just showing the ones with under artistic here. If I wanted to do cutout and click on it, there's just applied it. I can change different features here. I'm going to undo that right now. All right, but there's a lot of different choices: artistic, blurring, brush strokes. Right, you can see all of these choices, and usually all of these choices then also, if you look, there's many choices underneath it as well. And then the last feature I want to talk about just real quick right now is I'm in the editor right now, and that is where you edit and you change and you adjust pictures. But Elements also has what's called an organizer, and you can see the little icon down here. And when you first start up Elements, you have a choice of either going into the photo editor or the organizer. And the organizer basically helps you to organize your images. There's ways to attach tags to them. There's just a numerous ways to organize your images. I do not have mine set up yet. I just downloaded this software probably about 30 minutes ago, so I haven't had a chance to import my images, but I have over 30,000 images in the organizer, and because I've always labeled them or tagged them, with just a click of the button I can easily find all the images. So the organizer is part of Elements, but it does what it says here. It helps you organize, whereas the feature that I have showing here is the editor, where you change and you edit your pictures. Next, I'll look at how you can do almost the same thing in all 3 modes. All right, I have a picture of an elephant, and this is exactly how it came out in my camera. You can see the lack of contrast and the terrible overall exposure. In quick, I'm going to go up to Smart Fix. There's other choices you can make, but I'm going to kind of go quick. And I can click on Auto, and it adjusts it. I could also select a number of these 9 options as well. All right. I'm going to undo that and bring it back to the beginning. In guided, we go up to under the basics, and sometimes it's hard to find which one you want, but it's a basic, and I can either go to brightness and contrast, or almost the same would be lighten and darken. Right, and if I go to brightness and contrast, click on it, I can also do an auto fix right here, which is kind of like the quick, but I also have other controls that I can change, so I can modify it a little bit, and then I can click on next and save it, or if there's a few other features as well. But I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to go to expert mode, right? And to adjust the lighting, the levels in expert mode, I would use what's called a levels adjustment right there, and it brings up a histogram that shows the range of lights and darks, and you can see on this scale that I have no darks and I have no lights, that everything is pretty much middle gray. And for using levels, it's pretty easy. You just slide. Here I'm sliding the shadow, slide over until it comes to like the base of the hill, and I'll do the highlights over here, and I can move the gamma one in the middle as well. So I really can fine-tune things much more in the expert mode, but as you saw, that the quick and the guided mode also can do some really nice things. A really nice feature of this program is what's called a spot healing brush. It looks like a band-aid here, and I have proximity match, and if I just take my cursor and I'm going to draw it right across, you'll see a dark line right across this wire right here, and pick it up. The wire, well, almost all of it disappeared. I'll redo this area, and sometimes you have to go back and forth a little bit, but you can easily remove items, and Photoshop for the most part does a very good job of figuring out what should go there. Then this is usually the image when I do these videos. I like this one because I can remove this horse up here in the corner. There's other tools you can do as well, but the spot healing brush just does an amazing job. So I'm going to basically just take the cursor and go over that horse, and I pick it up and it's gone. Next, I'll demonstrate one of the guided edit features here. So I'm going to click on guided, and actually it's under black and white. It's called black and white color pop. And what this will do is that, and this is my image here, I can easily remove all of the color except for basically the red that's on this flower. Alright, so the directions for the guided show up along the right side. Click on any color that I want to highlight or keep. I want to keep the red, so I'll click on it, and you can see how it's basically removed almost all of the other color. There still is some background color there, and what I'll do here is actually go down to the optional refine, and I always forget if it's subtract or adding, but we'll see. If I subtract and then take my cursor, and I need the opacity a little bit stronger. For the areas where the color wasn't removed, I can just paint over those and remove the color as well, but a very fast way of removing all of the color except one and from a specific area. Next, I'll look at what are the differences between Photoshop Elements 15 and the newest version here. If we look through, this is from the Adobe site. It has an auto curate to find the best photos. But if we look down, and as I scroll, 15 is the second to the left, right, and this is the right one. So those are the two that I'm basically going to be comparing to find anything that is new. Alright, we have this feature where it can open closed eyes like magic. I haven't tried any of these out yet. I will. But you can see that there's not a lot of new features, and part of that is just because Elements is such a good program already. Here's a group right here on replacing the background, overlay effect, using watercolor, double exposure. Also has an auto selection, and one-click dynamic slideshows. So those are the differences between the newest version, Photoshop Elements 2018, and the older version, which was called Elements 15.